What's good, everybody? You know who it is. It's your boy, Big Tank Hank, coming at you with a Saturday live stream. We are in the Aqua shop and we're open for business. Today's show, we got Miss Susan of SLC Aquatics, aka the Fish Fam Mom. I've been anticipating and looking forward to this interview for a long time, and I can't wait. Right now, she's taking care of some business, but she's going to be coming on here shortly. As you see, her camera's queued up. Let's see who all is in the chat. Who do we got already? Geek Boys in the house. Mismatched Socks. I see you're going to be lurking, Mismatched Socks. Socks, well, that's fine. We're here. Thank y'all for coming through. Redfish, Bluefish. Hiya. How you doing? But yeah, Miss Susan should be coming back in here in a minute. I want to thank y'all for coming through. Oh, here she is, Miss Susan of SLC Aquatics, aka BKA Fish Fam Mom. I know I think of her that way also. How you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing well today. Thank you so much. Do you have my mic?
I got you. You're clear. You're
All
sounding
right.
good. I got you.
All right. Hey, everybody, and glad to be here.
Yes, ma'am. I was telling them, that hey, Ames, how you doing? How you stepped out, you was gonna be back in. And what I want to do, JDR Aquatics. Hey, welcome. How you doing? Thank y'all for calling in. How I want to start is you give them introduction for those that don't know you, small introduction of yourself, a little background. Go as deep as you want. Kids, spouse, how you got into the hobby, and then we're gonna go organic from there and just roll.
All right. Well, in the beginning, I started to go scripture on you. In the beginning,
Well,
6+ years now. I am married to wonderful Rod. Most people know him as Mr. SLC Aquatics. He
okay.
pops in and out every once in a while, but he is not a fish keeper. I am a mother of three biological children and two stepchildren. There are two of them deceased. My baby boy's deceased, and my oldest stepson is deceased also. So we have two girls and a boy that are still kicking it and being very successful. And of course, mom and dad are very proud of them. Got into the hobby basically because I had a fur baby, a dog named Coda, and he was getting old. I had fish as a child, and I told my husband that I wanted to get back into fish, and he says, "Well, I can only have one pet at a time." I said, "Well, hmm, how am I going to do this? Because you can't just have one fish without having more tanks and more fish because I love guppies and they're known as the million fish.
A million fish.
So how am I going to get him on page with this? But anyway, my older puppy, Coda, was getting old and we had to make the decision, to put him at rest so he wouldn't be suffering anymore. And he was 11 years old and very much a child to us because he snored like me. And Rod would know when I was home because he would be at the front door waiting for me to come home. There was a very strong bond between us. So I got my fish a month before he passed away. And I started with three pregnant guppies because I just wanted to see what I was going to get. I like surprises.
Right.
And so I started following different people on Facebook because I was a Facebook person mainly, and ran across a guppy group and some videos that they were sharing from YouTube was actually Corey from Aquarium Co-op.
And
So
he
I
loves him
started,
some guppies.
yes, he does. And that's how I really got started because this was in a guppy group and he was explaining some things about guppies. And so I started following him on YouTube. And then, like a couple months of following Corey, he had this person as a guest on his live stream named Bob Steenfott. Well, I love to research. So I went to digging everywhere, trying to find out who is this Bob Steenfott. And so the next thing I know, I'm following Bob on YouTube. I'm following Corey. And then there becomes a group of us. Nisi from Alaska was a mod in Corey's streams and Bob's streams. And I started following and participating in chat. And there was, like I said, there was a handful of us that were like regulars that were doing uh, live streams. I wasn't yet live streaming. I was more like vlogging every once in a while. Very poor quality. If you go back and look at some of my beginning um, videos, it was like, oh my God, she's come a long way, baby. and, and a few of my two or three of my live streams, I was by myself.
Ooh,
Me, myself, and I.
ooh, and that can be so hard.
It was a learning curve. It really was. But the reason I mentioned Nisi's name is because she has some very beautiful cultural ways being Alaskan. And she just endeared me with a term, Aka, AKAH, Susan. And she explained to me that that word meant motherly or grandmotherly. And so that's how the name Fish Fam Mom started coming around. And for those that don't know this, I did not name myself Fish Fam Mom. I did not. I would not. I would have never done that. I am not some haughty, puffed up person that needs to label myself as a mom. So that endearment came from Nisi and it went through the community and they started hashtagging me Fish Fam Mom. And I really appreciate that term, but it does carry quite a responsibility that a lot of
Yes.
people would say, well, why do you take that upon yourself? Mainly because I care. I care about the community. The community that I have found over the last 6 years is a very dearing, helpful, loving uh, community. And yes, drama pops up now and then, but we can just keep going, loving, sharing, helping, supporting. I haven't yet made it to any live conferences or club meetings. I've done several virtual ones, and my work schedule limits how far I can go and when I can go. So, is there any questions right now? Pause and think about it.
Well, let me see. I can ask some questions. Hey, if anybody in the chat, you know how to capitalize it or put the at symbol on it so we can see it. It'll stand out. Well, I want to ask you what was your first fish that you after the guppies? What was your first fish that really took hold of you in your fish room?
I got courageous and tried some egg layers, the peppered Corydora, the Corydora paleatus. And I found them very fascinating because I had only had guppies in my life, except for one time when I moved into a house, I inherited a 55-gallon community tank. And that only lasted for 9 months because we had a house fire that destroyed everything. So I, I had coolie loaches in that community tank, and I couldn't ever see them. You know, when I would pull up a plant, that's where they were all wrapped around the roots. But the Corydora in my aquariums became a second fascinating fish because they started reproducing and I didn't have anything to do with it. They did it
Oh,
all on
okay.
their own. And I started seeing these, I called them little teeny tiny dinosaurs swimming in the substrate. I'm like, what is that? And the more I examined it, I'd found baby Corydoras and they started reproducing for me on such a great level that I was able to actually sell breeding trios. And if you're not familiar with the Corydora, you they're a reverse trio from guppies. Guppies, two females to a male. Corydoras would be two females to a male. And so that was my second fish.
Okay. And I mean, there's nothing more refreshing when you're a tank keeper, especially if you not focused on to have egg scatterers to actually have the babies. Don't eat them, and then they show up and they're flourishing, and it's like, oh my God, I'll take it.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
somebody that's friends of mine who really don't keep fish right now, they said, "Oh, well, for them to reproduce, they must be happy and you must have the perfect environment." I said, "Either that or they're horny fish." They're going to reproduce
One of the
like
two.
guppies. Like
One of
guppies,
the
they're
two.
going to reproduce no matter what.
One of the two.
But
And I want
nature,
to let you.
go
No,
ahead.
I want to let you know, you don't have to make up the name Fish Fam Mom. Sometimes nicknames come upon people that are them, and there's nobody that's gonna argue with that. I mean, because when you first hear it, it's like, okay,
Who is this person?
no, but they're not gonna. There's, I mean, you're gonna have, like you say, the haters per se, but the smaller percentage of the people, the majority of people, when they hear it, they're like, okay, I see it. It's embraced because it's just understood. Very few people even think about where it would come from. I'm glad you gave the background on it, but it's like, okay, I see it. You know, I
And
receive it.
and the in the beginning of the community's forming, it's not a formal organization. It has no president, vice president, treasurer. Um, it's a virtual, informal community, and there's different communities. There's photography. There's vlogging communities. Different subjects. The sky's the limit. But in the beginning of the community coming together, the voice that I kept hearing was, "I love this community. They don't hate on you. They don't criticize you because you don't know what you're doing." And I'm like, why would we criticize? We're ever learning. There's so many different ways to keep fish. There's so many different backgrounds. There's so many different experience levels. Why would we ever make you feel bad? Because we all had a beginning. We Most of us kept goldfish from the fair when we were children in a fish bowl, and the
Boop.
water clouded up, and 3 days later they're floating at the top of the tank of the bowl, and you're like, that was our first experiences keeping fish. It was mine. And my baby sister and I had to go have a funeral. We could not let those go down the toilet. Mom gave us a little jewelry box and we buried them in the yard, had a 2-minute little funeral, and we were fine. We were ready to go on.
Okay. All right, BJ Palmer, you be good now.
See you,
Let me see.
BJ.
Who else we got? Patrick Hardy, welcome in.
Hey,
Welcome in.
Patrick.
Jeffrey Wise, I see you lurking. Welcome in, sir. Big Easy, I saw you sneak in the back door. Welcome, welcome.
Hey, Mark.
JDR Aquatics, welcome. Redfish, Bluefish, thank you, sir, for coming to visit.
Oh, I did see one request from AIM Spirit Fish. They asked me to friend them on Facebook. But if you would go to SLC Aquatics page on Facebook and click like, you can message me, you can leave posts, you can see what Susan for SLC Aquatics is all about there on Facebook. So you do that for me, and I will respond. Okay?
And she will do that. Most definitely.
They
Most
said they need a mom. Don't we all need a mom?
Yes, yes, ma'am. God rest my mom passed in '05, but she was around long enough to see all three of her grandbabies attend my first sermon, meet her daughter-in-law.
Beautiful.
Then she went on to glory.
Yeah, today we're celebrating in heaven my mother-in-law, Rod's mom, that I never got to meet. She passed in 81. And he says he doesn't participate in that type of stuff, which is fine. Everybody's different. I said, well, I just wanted the family to know that I'm honoring her birthday as well, even though I didn't get the opportunity to meet her. And there's a possibility she may not have liked me because my skin's a little on the light side.
Okay.
And my mom is living, but it took her 12 years before she would meet Rod. And anyway, that's not fish related, but there's a history.
Hey, they know on this child. This child is 80% non-fish related.
Okay. We've all been through the
Oh,
fire, as we say, and
yes,
survived.
man. Yes, yes, man. Hey, and if you want, because I know they're looking at your text, and everybody is gonna be wondering what you got back there behind you. You can show them however many it takes you want to. If you have a background on them, I mean, as far as the explanation of the importance. I mean, if you want to go into it,
Okay, it's going to be a rough ride because I have a rolling stand that my laptop is on. I don't have an external camera. I should have added one to the stream. But anyway, behind me is my 5-gallon Betta. It's a drink dispenser. It used to house my Dumbo ear uh, butterfly Betta, who passed away 2 days ago. So right now I've added some guppies who are not very happy. I did a water change, but when fish stay at the top, there's usually an oxygen lack in there.
uh-huh.
It's 80 degrees. They're not used to 80 degrees. So today I'm going to do another small water change and up the oxygen on the sponge filter. Maybe they'll be a little more comfortable, but at the top, they're fine as long as they are getting oxygen. I have one little baby angel who's hiding in the log down here, and he's probably the size of a dime. So this is just a way to keep some fish going in there with that plant. And anytime you lose a fish, add some more fish.
Right.
So that's what that history is there. And then here is my 25-gallon that houses the uh, a school of peppered cory cats, and there are a few, believe it or not, blue-eyed uh, lemon plecos in there. They're all hiding today or stuck to the glass, and there's no other fish going on. I do have a few more angels over in the 29 that I'm going to be adding to this aquarium. Yes, it's milky and cloudy because the cory cats keep the sand stirred up all the time. I changed the filter media out yesterday to keep with some carbon in it that will help clarify it. Believe me, you wouldn't been able to see through it earlier. This rack over here is a, a rack of a variety fish going on because I'm going to rework this rack with an air system and a water change sump system later on because I intend to move the 20 long up on top. I'm going to move the 5-gallon off, and it's going to be 2 rows of 10-gallon breeding tanks. I just recently joined IFGA Guppies, International Fancy Guppy Association. I have followed them for years, but have never actually joined them. So recently I joined them, and I'm going to purchase some championship guppies and work on those on this rack.
Okay.
Right now, the 20 long has more peppered corridors in it and a small school of bloodfin tetras, and they're very shy fish. They're swimming around the wood. The peppered cord cats are very active right now, spawning, so they're happy.
And about how many
There's,
of the bloodfin tetras?
I think there's 4 in there. I started with a dozen, and the tank crashed at one point, and I lost about 4 in one day. Did quick water changes, checked my water qualities, and so far everything's been okay. I had a power outage on Saturday, and the HOB failed on me, and I didn't know it. So I had to grab this sponge filter. I had to find another air pump somewhere and give them some oxygen. And then this tin up here, I know the lighting is bad, but that's a cherry shrimp tank, and it's full of Java moss, lava rocks. I have a small colony of cherry shrimp, probably about six going on in there. And the other 10 in the middle is a breeding project that I have with some of the super guppies that I had last summer or summer, yeah, 2 summers ago. And that was a mix between blue green Moscows and my half moon mosaics. And everybody was calling them super guppies because the females were about 2.5 inches in length and their body width was very large, and the males were almost 4 inches long.
Ooh,
And I
Guppy.
have a guppy, and I have a friend that is now he has hundreds of them, and he said he still has some of the original guppies that I gave him 3 years ago. So that's the longest living guppies I've ever had. I just lost a male, one of the original males, probably 3 months ago, and he was 4 years old. But I never got any um, young from him because his caudal fin was almost an inch in length, and he was too slow to actually breed. So those long fin. What are they calling those guppies with
Ribbon.
the ribbon? Yeah, they can't breed. And if you have a long caudal fin fish that doesn't swim very fast, it's the first to come, as they say.
Right.
But that was the longest living guppy I had ever had, 4 years old. And then this here is my 29 gallon, and the light is bright because it's actually a reef light that my son in law gave me. It's great for plants. I think it's a 10,000 lumen light. It's probably a $400 light that he gave me, but you can't find that brand anymore, and I can't remember the brand, so sorry about that. It also has a blue light on it and a moonlight that are not plugged in right now. But this one is my overgrowth trouble, just a mess tank, and this is where I put all of those baby angels that I rescued a month ago when the tornado went through our area.
Okay.
A guy's fish room got destroyed, and so I went and grabbed some angelfish fry. But there's a few babies still living in there, maybe not quite the size of a dime, but out of 100 of them, I hate that so many of them passed away. But you're coming from different water sources. He
Yeah,
had
that
RO. Yeah, go ahead.
no, I was just saying that adjustment will be hard on.
Yeah, he had a RO system which did a daily water change, and I don't do daily water changes, but I thought they would really make it because this tank is full of nutrients. And so mainly this tank is my mystery snail tank. I don't know if y'all are catching a good view of it or not, but there's mystery snails all over it and baby ones that have just hatched out that are about half size of a dime. So this one, I really need to redo the substrate in it. Father Fish says, cap it with 2 inches of sand. Everybody knows that. I do have several tanks in here that are deep substrate tanks. The 25 is a deep substrate tank. I don't have dirt on the bottom, but I have gravel
Okay.
and 2 inches of sand. Now, this is my 55, and I apologize again. The lighting is horrible on this camera, but this one houses my koi angelfish. He's very handsome, and he's still looking for a girlfriend. And I have a flash pleco in here that is very, he hides most of the time. He's probably 5 inches long. He's wild caught, and he's also known as the Emperor Pleco, um, and I believe it's the L204 if anybody wants to look that up. They're very friendly fish until you add other plecos. I also have added some albino plecos in here, and yesterday I did not see the male, but I see the three females, and I'm hoping that he hasn't met his demise through that other pleco, but I'm hoping to breed them as well. You might see some other small fish swimming around. There is a trio of my uh, guppies in there that I could not catch. They grew up from fry, and there is one more bloodfin tetra in there that I could not catch. When you catch fish in this aquarium, you have to use divider panels and actually lower the water and just try to be handy with the net.
Is it a standard 55?
Yes, I do believe
Because
to
it
make it.
looked, from this angle, it looks short. Oh, is that because the substrate is so thick?
Yeah, it does have 4 inches of substrate.
Okay, okay.
There's 2 inches of black sand. I don't know what kind because I actually bought this aquarium with the sand in it, and it had gouramis, a common pleco, one angelfish, which I've now sold or rehomed, and one paradise fish in it. So I've added 2 inches of the black sandblasting sand from Tractor Supply.
Uh-huh.
So there's about 4 inches of sand in there. And I think it's 21 inches tall.
Okay.
I can't
Ho-
remember the.
Holly Gibbs is asking, do you let your mysteries just hatch on their own, or do you put them in a nursery?
I let them hatch on their own. They come outside, and there's 1 inch clearance all the way around the aquarium so that the females can lay their eggs. And they also, I have polycarbonate lids. Matter of fact, if I go back to that aquarium, I'll show you. Um, there are eggs on the polycarbonate lid, and they'll lay eggs on the polycarbonate lid sometimes. And you'll see
Oh,
here
okay.
where they lay their egg casings. Matter of fact, I've got one hatching here.
Then they just drop straight back into the water.
Yep, they drop right back into the water, and that's what the well, excuse me just a minute. Do not disturb. But that's what these are, baby snails that have hatched out.
Okay.
They're all over the place, different ages, different sizes. I have mostly white ones in there, but there's a brown one with some multi stripes. They're mixed together. I let them breed together. I don't try to keep one strain going because they're beautiful and they can get almost the size.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hello, hello, hello.
I can hear you.
I'm having sound issues. Can y'all hear me in the chat?
I hear you. Yes, I hear you.
Okay, let me see. It might be me here. Let me check this. Oh,
And I have two more.
okay. I
I have,
can't hear you.
cannot hear me. Can you all hear me? They
Oh, you
say
can
they
hear
hear
them both?
both of us.
I can't hear.
Check your speaker settings. See if your speaker settings are going to your earbud. Somebody type in
I'm
chat.
still not hearing you, Susan.
Type in chat. Unplug your earbuds
Let me see.
from
Let
the
me see.
computer and plug it back in.
Can y'all hear both of them still?
Testing. Yes, they
I
can
can't
hear
hear you.
both of us.
What's going on? What's going on?
Let me see if I can.
Let me see. My earphones. Hold on. Let me see. Mine are actually cordless. Let me just turn them off and see.
Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2, 1, 2. Testing 1, 2.
Hello. 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 Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear us? Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Okay. I just turned up my tablet. I can hear you on the tablet. I can't hear you on the.
Testing 1, 2.
Okay. I just turned up my tablet. I can hear you on the tablet. I can't hear you.
Yeah, we've got an echo.
Can you hear me? I just turned up
I can hear
my tablet.
you,
I can hear you.
but I also hear YouTube. You want to mute your YouTube.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
It's something to do with my phone actually.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me yet?
My phone actually.
I'm hearing YouTube,
Hold
the
on. Let me
echo.
try something.
Let's see. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Doing well. Geek Boy. Hi, Geek Boy. Hey, Freaky Fish Lady. Echo on Hank. Can you hear me, Hank? Testing 1, 2. 1, 2,
Okay.
1, 2.
All right. I had to turn the other one off.
All right. I hear just a little bit echo. Do you have your YouTube on?
I got you.
Make sure YouTube is muted.
Let me see.
But there was a 20 gallon and then a 15 long.
All right.
So that's what's in this fish room.
There we go.
All right. You got me?
I got you.
Great.
Yeah, I don't know. I had a
Please,
disconnection. I had a disconnection on the phone camera with the sound. I don't know what happened.
could have been just weak battery. You have to keep your phones plugged in. Is your phone plugged into power?
Oh, it is. It's not. It's the phone is. I mean the power's up. It
Yeah.
was like an alarm. An alarm came on the phone,
Oh,
and
that's what
then
happens. Yeah.
it
If
turned it
anything
off.
comes in and disrupts your signal, you'll lose audio and sometimes video, and you have to reconnect.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes you can put your phone in airplane mode so phone calls and notifications don't come in and disrupt us, but it doesn't always work. But is there any other questions? Anything that you would like to know about Susan for SLC Aquatics? We also have a website. You need to check out the website, slcaquatics.org, and it's a resource and an upcoming event. It's a community website. And you feed me the information and I'll keep it posted so that we as a community can see who's doing what, when, and where. I've kind of put the newsletter on hold right now because everybody seems to be so busy And I hate to say it, but it was a bi-monthly newsletter, and it's very difficult to get the community to participate with their articles. So if any of y'all ever want to send me an article, I will post and print another newsletter. So you can send information to score at 48 at yahoo.com. Send me your articles, your pictures, as long as they're your pictures, and a short 15 second to 30-second video would be fine. Or if you have a YouTube channel, I can um, link your YouTube channel in the newsletter. You got a bad echo now, an infinity echo. So he'll be back, guys. Hi, relaxing frustrations. Hey,
All right, there we go.
freaky
I'll
fish
just
lady.
stick with this one.
All right. Sounds good.
I'll just stick with this one.
He's a pro.
Yeah, when I first started, that's why I have a backup like this, and I have a setup. When I first started, oh man, everything would go black, and I just be in here looking crazy. What? Oh my God, what do I need to do?
Well,
Don't panic. Don't panic.
have you ever been in any of my live streams where this laptop reboots and I have to run upstairs and reconnect in my office?
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let me see. Let me reboot my mind now.
Scroll through the
Okay.
chat.
Let's see anybody. We got any questions over here while I reboot?
We we
But
had
I'll just say
5 minutes.
again also. I'll say also, I'm just so glad that you actually, came in, to talk to
Thank
me
you.
today. And
Thank you for having me.
you always were a kindred spirit for me. I felt like I knew you before I knew you. And it's so important. My moniker was, I'm a fence builder, a fence mender, bridge builder, and I want to bring people together more than I want to talk fish. And your energy, and your heart. We can see your heart on screen. Your love for people, period, as well as your love for the fish fam, and you being an integral part in us being able to be here and do this is it's a beautiful thing. And I just had to bring you on it because I know there will be some people who may not know you. So I was like, hey, that's another thing I do with this. I tell people I reintroduce Fish Fam or introduce the ones that people don't know at all.
That's right.
And I believe in just keeping it all cyclical because we can lose sight, especially like this took off and it ran so fast for me, um, where people recognizing my stream wanting to be on it, and it was surprising for me, and I forgot people who I actually wanted to have on, so I had to go back and make a list for myself, so I can catch people, you know.
I have to do that. And then I lose my notes and I'm like, who did I ask? I can't remember. Months later they'll send me a message. You still want to do a stream? I said, yeah. Did I? And in my mind I'm like, did I ask you? But I don't tell them that.
Right? Yeah,
I'm
that's a good thing.
62 years young.
So you said I
And
don't have an excuse.
actually I tell people all the time, age has nothing to do with forgetfulness. It
Right.
has to do with the busyness of mind, or sometimes body chemistry. Something might be off in the chemistry of what we're doing. Pay attention to what you're eating, what you're drinking. Drink more water,
Right.
less
And I'm
soda
I'm
pop.
ADHD. I'm ADHD, And I was in my 30s listening to a podcast at an old job I had and realized that that's what it was. So I was never medicated. I learned to use it. My kids, I tell them it's a superpower. It suits me very well at my job because I can have a conversation, hear a conversation. I can do all these things at one time. But with that, it makes your true memory kind of bad. But I made my memory more physical. Like I connect things together at all times. To where, however important it reminds when I tell my son because he has the same issue. I'm like, make alarms. I make alarms on my phone for almost everything. So just make an alarm, man. Put it in your notes on your iPad, make alarms for it.
There's a picture in my mind for just about every memory that I have to have. And if the picture gets faded or fades away, I have to recreate one. And that's what all of these accounts, social media accounts, want a different password. They say, "Oh, you've used that password before," and I'm like, "How do you know?" And I want to use it again because I remember it. And then I have to add a symbol or another letter to it, and I'm like, "I forgot my password." Send me the link to make a new password. And I have a
Yeah, that's
book.
what
My
you say.
husband bought me a book to write my passwords down, and it's empty because I can't remember my passwords.
And they say it's not secure. When you use the same password, I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm using the same password. I don't hang with a lot of people, so it's not like they can really guess my password. So I'm gonna use.
I've quit registering at a place just because they require a different password. Like, phew, I don't need you. Oh,
Most definitely, most definitely.
but there's things about Fish Mom that people don't know. I love nature. Um, I had the opportunity to show horses in a 4-H club in my senior
Okay.
year of high school. I won a couple ribbons, and one of them was riding bareback. And they stuck a dollar bill underneath of you, and you had to go through this course, jumping and trotting and loping. And if you lost the dollar, you lose. And the family that loaned me the horse to compete had a younger daughter, and so she and I were tied at the end, and we kept going around and round, and neither one of us lost the dollar. So I just relaxed and let the dollar fly out so that she could win. And
Uh,
I just, but I know I won.
I hear you.
But a lot of times we do things for each other that may be a sacrifice for us. But if you see that they have a need, why not do it? Why not do it? Pick them up, make them feel better about themselves. And even in this hobby, I've had to close the fish room because I thought I was going to relocate, taking care of my elderly mom last April. And I met some wonderful people, and I've had fish people come that is not part of the social media fish fam. And they may have seen me once on a social media platform or through word of mouth through another fish keeper. And we met, and um, a lot of times I would, ask such little amount for my fish that they end up giving me more money because they said, "Susan, your fish are worth more than this." And I'm like, "Yeah, but, you know, I would be keeping them otherwise, you know, you're just helping empty my tank for me." And they would bless me, they'd um, even those that made it to uh, Aquashella and things like that that I couldn't make it to, I'd get packages in the mail of stickers from people who showed up, the the magazines that they had on the counter on the tabletops, T-shirt, the the fish tuber sticker right there in the back. That's a gift. Um,
Okay.
I didn't make it to the Aquashella where they had the fish tube table. Um, like I said, I haven't made it to any in-person ones yet. And I know there's one in Tennessee, at Chattanooga, Tennessee, on the 24th. That's a swap at the Aquarium Aesthetics, Aesthetics in Chattanooga, and may make it. I'm hoping to, but I'm not sure yet if I'm going to make it. But I would like to. And what else y'all want to know about me? You got any questions, Hank? Now, fish
Well,
tuber is Mike at Florida Fish Rescue.
Florida Fish Rescue, yes, ma'am.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, let me see. What else can I ask you? What is it that you want to see maybe come in to the hobby, or for us to be allowed to do, in a sense of um, things that are regulated at this point, that are maybe considered um, illegal, illegal fish, illegal plants? Are there any things that you actually like and that you admire from videos that other people can have, but you can't in your area?
As far as the United States goes, um, I don't see too many limitations except on things that actually do need to be limited because not every hobbyist is a responsible hobbyist. I would love to see the knowledge increase for the hobbyist, but you can't make people do right. If they choose to release their fish into the creek or to the lake, in their area, which is a no no. We ask that you don't ever release your hobby fish into the wild. Never do that. Unless you have caught a wild caught fish and kept it for a while, you can re release it. But don't release your bought hobby fish into the wild. But as far as I know, some people want to keep exotic arowanas and freshwater stingrays and such. Um, you know, those are limited. Even from state to state, there's limitations because their environmental science tells you don't get self-cloning crayfish in your area because they've become evasive and they're killing off our natural crayfish that is used for water filtration. So I learned that just from an article that my local water company mailed out, and it's also on my website in the blog section of the natural wild crayfish in my area in Alabama are becoming hard to find because other things are killing them off. So, as far as internationally, I know a lot of medications that we use in this hobby have been made illegal. Like Canada suffers getting um, antibiotics and dewormer. You have to go under the counter and behind the door to get medications to treat some of your fish sometimes. So those type of limitations I would like to see lifted or amended. You may have to go to a veterinarian office to get medication, but it would be monitored and checks and balance type system because only those that are doing things right, we need to make our voices heard so that the majority of us doing right can knock out some of those that are just being illegal about things. And that's in
Right.
anything, gun control, abortion, things like that. There's a reason for all things, but the wrong people always get the most media attention, and it makes it
Checks,
hard.
checks and balances.
Yes.
Yep. Yep.
And a lot of people will say, oh, that's just rules and regulations, and I'm so sick and tired of rules and regulations. Well, I tell you one thing, we wouldn't be here today and at the technical level that we are as a society if there were not some checks and balances along the way. Even my
Yep.
mom, I told my mom, I said, you didn't spank me enough. You really didn't spank Susan enough. because I'm so selfish and so lazy, and I am so daffy doodle sometimes that the world can pass me by in 24 hours and I don't even know what happened. And I told her if she just spanked me a little bit more, I think I would have paid a little bit more attention.
I hear you. I hear you.
Now, who asked for that? Who asked for a whipping? I don't want a whipping.
Right.
Oh, but
But
I
hey,
tell you,
if it helped you, it would have helped you.
yep,
I give you
it
one
may.
scenario. Speaking of the checks and balances and us respecting regulation, um, let's say this the pandemic that we're dealing with, um, it'll be looking good, and then somebody, oh, I'm tired of it. This mask, I'm tired. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, we're gonna open up a little bit here, and then people lose their minds, and then you get a spike, you know, and it's like, come on, I can feel, I can understand the getting tired aspect, but I get tired of the mask like everybody else, but I accept the mask. I don't
A
care.
lot of people don't understand what the mask is. The mask is not for you, it's
It's to
for
protect someone
somebody
else.
else.
Yep.
And if
Yep.
we would just care instead of being selfish, I get frustrated. You get frustrated. We get frustrated in the hobby. This poor fish room hadn't seen me very much in the last 30 days. Schedule wise, sometimes I get mopey and I see so much needs to be done and I'm the only one doing it. Sometimes you can, I saw a question somewhere. When do too many tanks become too many? When you can't take care
When
of
you
them
can't
anymore.
take care of it. Yes, ma'am.
So, I'm constantly downsizing, upsizing, and right now for spring to come, if the weather would just cooperate, I would be putting some fish out there in these ponds, man. Oh, I
Right.
forgot. I've got goldfish out there too, so I
Okay.
forgot about that.
Oh, Holly Gibbs says, where are you located?
I am located in central Alabama, United States, in case there's another Alabama somewhere. You never know.
Right. That's
So,
wonderful. I mean, to have it's hard. Um, talking about adults, because where I work, it's like a adult daycare. And it's the best training spot for these types of situations, especially like we were speaking on the mask and things of that nature. Frustration. You see frustration there, but they wouldn't they wouldn't make it without structure, without rules, without regulations. And after they've been there so long, if you are not following certain rules or regulations, they're gonna call you on it
yeah.
because they have to have it.
Well, it's
They
become
get to where,
their second nature to
yeah,
them.
they have to have it. A lot of times they don't even have. They may not have a clock, but they know when it's, just to get a feeling. They know when it's time, for certain things to happen, or for you to do certain things. And I can admit that I'm like that a little bit too during the day with them because I never wear a watch myself. We just you come in at a certain time, and it's like you move, you push, and it all rolls the same amount of time, all of that, and it's got a message from the wife. All righty.
Is it chow time?
No, no, she child for her. She's going out with a cousin of hers to get something to eat.
All
And
right.
she let me know she was. I could smell the perfume. So I kind of knew already.
That's cute. That's cute. The little things.
The
Our
little things,
senses,
the little things.
our senses can, like you said, our senses can really let us know what time it is.
Yeah. And you see how ironic that was, how those things connected right there.
Yep. Yeah. I love it. To me, it's
Yeah,
not
man.
ironic, but I know what you mean.
Well,
And I
yeah,
was going to say, I'm in central Alabama. And if I go across the map to Texas, And you said that we have a kindred spirit, and we feel like we have known each other before we knew each other, and we're still learning each other
Yes.
because a few minutes before the show we got to know each other a little bit to where we brought both each other to tears.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the
Yes.
heart that's in you and the heart that's in me, I'm glad we're here today because this light needs to shine so
Yes.
that others can see that there is another side to the coin, and anything that we do affects another person, whether positively or negatively. And I, in a way, for the last 6 years, have tried to make a voice for myself in coming and putting my face on a screen, talking to you, whether it's from my fish room or from my office or from my front porch or even my living room. Our hobby is nothing but an outlet. We need to de stress from life sometimes. And we discovered not all, but some of the fish hobby people um, were introverts. We're not very well socialized. We would rather be home alone than out in the middle of a crowd, because even in the middle of a crowd, a person who has crowd anxieties can feel like they're all alone and there might be hundreds of people around them. But yet you find
Yes.
someone that mentions, oh, neon tetras in this aquarium over here, or look at, have you seen this albino Oscar? Oh, he's gorgeous. Next thing you know, you got a best friend in the whole world. Why? Because we have something in common, and you
Something in
feel like you belong and you're not alone. And in this hobby, you're never alone. And
and we
I'm,
all have something.
we all, and I don't always give the best advice, because even on my own live streams, I'll be saying, oh no, you don't need this. And then someone in chat say, Susan, yes, you do. And I'm like, okay, listen to them. Don't listen to me because I'm still learning. And sometimes my advice may not be the correct advice. So that's why I'm easy to submit. I'm easy to submit, say, hey, I don't know it. And maybe I learned it the wrong way, or maybe I listened to the wrong influence. And that's why I love these chats, because we can say, now, Susan, you shouldn't be putting those two fish together. I'm like, why? Tell me why. Oh, is that why I'm missing some fish? Oh, okay. All right. Because I've had guppies and goldfish together in the same tank, and people are like, "You can't do that." I'm like, "I did, because my office was 72 degrees. There was no heater in the tank, so the goldfish really didn't get too hot." And I thought I was actually trying to decrease the population of guppies at one time. So I was putting some pregnant females over with the goldfish, thinking, oh, the goldfish are going to eat these fry for me and I'll be fine. No, they
Not
learned to
gonna chase
live
them.
yep, they learned to cohabitate with each other. And I'm like, okay, that's not going to work. So I started separating the females from the males, and that cut it back quite a bit.
That works every now and then.
Yep.
If you,
After the females finish dropping their
yeah,
drops.
I'm gonna say if you didn't have like I have so many like right here next to me. This 30-gallon totes, nothing but guppies. I could separate I could separate the males and females right now, and I still have guppies probably for another year.
Yep. Because as the fry are
Oh,
maturing, you got to catch those males out.
And then you get the ones that decide, well, I'm not gonna color up at all.
I'm going to fool you. You
And
think
then
I'm a
it take you
female.
forever. And finally you say, hey, is that a gonopodium? Oh my God, he's an inch long. How long is he?
Yep. Uh, I used to. I can't do it now because my vision, as I've gotten older, has weakened. But I used to look at fry, and by the time they were 3 weeks old, I could separate the males from the females, and I would only miss one or two every once in a while. And as soon as I caught it, I'd net him. But I can't do it anymore. But I used to be able to at 3 and 4 weeks sex
I've
these
gotten
guppies.
I've gotten pretty decent at it. You got your iridescence for one, and the shape of the abdomen where the gonopodium or the spot the females
The gravid
how,
area,
yeah, how
the
am I gonna
gravid,
go blank? But the gravity area will have a sharp angle on it. You know, even before the dot would make, before it would come on the males, there would be a sharp angle up towards
yep,
the peduncle area.
the peduncle area.
Yeah,
Yep. Everybody's
yeah.
like, peduncle
I had
is
to
that
figure
like
that all out. Yeah,
is that like
I had to figure it out.
pinnacle?
I had to figure it out myself because they would slip by on me. Oh, they would slip by.
But I think that's part of the fun of the hobby is challenging yourself. Who would think sexing guppies could be challenging?
Right,
I don't try
right.
sexing the cichlids because I don't know enough about a cichlid to help.
Yep, and you go wild. I gave up looking into it, especially the ages of the ones that I have. It takes a while, them maturing. And then when they say venom, I'm not gonna vent a fish. I'm sorry, I'm just not gonna take it out. And I'm not gonna do it.
What did
I
Patrick
will
Hardy
not.
say? Patrick Hardy's talking about something. Sorry, coming from the newspaper business half of my lifetime, I don't buy and believe everything. That's coming from the major television news media. They sell fear and people don't read and question it.
Question it.
He might be talking about the COVID situation we were talking about,
Oh,
I think. But I agree
well,
there, Patrick.
I work in a barometer for the COVID situation. Um, I'm in a medical prison facility. So when I say I walk into the midst of it. Thank you, God, that I've been negative, and everybody in my household, which is five of us, has been negative this whole time. We went and got our shots. I believe in the shot. That's me, but we went and got our shots. But we've stayed negative the whole time. But I can measure what I'm experiencing and I'm seeing personally by what the news says.
Yep.
Just by right there in that small little incubator, you know. So yes, Patrick, I do agree to some extent. I do, but in regards to the pandemic and the spikes and these things of that nature, I'm going on experience more than I am what the news is telling me.
That's right.
And I wasn't
And
supposed to be closed off. You're not supposed to be secure. You know, if you supposedly now they were thinking early on when you get to a certain level, it should disappear in there before out. But no, it's not working like that. It's not
yes.
working, and they don't go anywhere. They don't move. They're there. So it's us.
The whole irony of this whole thing, we all have gotten lax and lazy with how we have treat our personal hygiene and our environments that we work in that have multiple personnel every day, sometimes every shift.
Yep.
And if we would just have maintained hygiene and cleanliness, we may not have even been here. I've gone in a restaurant and food still be in my menu. I hand the menu back and ask them
Yes.
either clean it in front of me or give me another one.
Yes.
In a classroom situation, the janitor used to disinfect the desks at the end of the day.
In between classes.
Yeah, and even in between classes. On our workstation, some of us can be eating our lunch at our workstation and still see what we had yesterday. Why? Because we didn't clean it off.
Because we didn't clean it off.
We
Exactly.
didn't clean it off.
Exactly.
They're counting
Exactly.
on herd immunity to work. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jeffrey, it was actually said, man. Unfortunately, it was said, 5 or so months ago. Oh, we just gonna let it run through here, and then it's going. No, no, not quite. I've had a, I'm technically a restaurant general manager. At the president in the free world, I'll be a general manager, and I've gone to some restaurants. This was before any of this happened.
Do you mind if I take a break? I'll be right back.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. You can.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, everybody. This was before any of this jumped off, and I'm still speaking on us, and our cleanliness, and sanitation. I'd be in the restaurant, you'd have made the order, and you waiting, because it's to go, and I'd have to call over the manager on duty and point out stuff. Hey, look underneath this table here, or look over there, or look, why are they not mopping here? Why are they not wiping there? I mean, and this is not even a full restaurant. I mean, there's not that many people in there, so this stuff that you see, why are y'all not cleaning this up? You're gonna cause this whole business to be shut down. But they just got to where they just didn't care anymore. The teachers could get on your child back in the past, and now look why children don't respect anything anymore. Yes, 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 yes. I personally agree with that wholeheartedly. Just my own personal, feelings, but yes, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I do, I do, I do.
Thank you for that break. I needed it.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Oh, it's a
yep.
mess. That's another can of worms opened right there. Because I do believe in teaching children, pets, there is limitations and boundaries.
Yes,
We've got
ma'am.
on this. There's consequences to our choices and our decisions. A friend of mine, before her teenage daughter would ever go out of the house, whether with friends or with a date, she always reminded her, remember, there are consequences for the choices that you make, good and bad. So remember, and she said every time she wanted to do something that she knew she shouldn't do, she'd hear her mom's voice say, remember the consequences. Are you willing are you willing to stand in the face of the consequences and pay the price? You know, and it's good for us. It's healthy. It's
I
healthy
bank
for
on
our.
my kids. I bank on my kids hearing my voice resonating in their heads when they leave the house.
Very good. Very
Because
good.
here, like my wife, I tell you, I've been married for about to be 23 years, and I never get angry when if I tell the kid, let's say, um, taking the trash out. Saturdays, my son take trash out. 20 years old, he's still living here. He has a job, whole nine. You still take the trash out on Saturday morning. I will wake up. I take my blood pressure pill at 6:30. I take my blood pressure pill, turn the TV on, walk through, wake him up. Take the trash out, Jay, and then go back to my room. Never get angry. My daughter, 19, she washed the dishes. Cammy, before you go to sleep, baby, make sure you wash those dishes. Go on about my business. And my wife, she'll get mad. Well, by this time, I'm like, well, baby, how old are they? We should have said that a long time ago. By this time, they should have got it. Well, since they don't have it, I'm going to tell them every day. I don't
Yeah.
mind.
You
And
give them
I will
that
repeat
period, you give them that
it.
chance that they might do it on their own, but we found out that if you don't give them that reminder, they're going to go, hey, Dad didn't tap on the door tonight. Maybe I'm out of it. Nope. There's a price to pay tomorrow if those dishes are still sitting there.
How many times can I get away with it before anybody notices? Maria Dobson, welcome, Maria Dobson.
Hey, Maria. Hey,
She's
Melvin
from
Reef.
she's from the fish snatcher fam. That's the anglers. They go and catch them on the hooks and put them in the
Awesome.
pan.
Go for it. I have a friend that
Melvin,
teases me,
welcome, sir. You came in just in time because we're about out of time.
but I've enjoyed
Ma'am,
it. And
this was wonderful. It was just like I thought it would be. I mean, for me personally.
well,
Um,
I appreciate it. I've
thank you,
really
thank you.
enjoyed it. I don't want it to end, but I know we have life that happens. And
Yes,
I
yes.
and I know Rod, Mr. SLC Aquatics, will be texting me soon saying, I've gone to get my own lunch.
Hey, no, I'm sitting there wondering. I'm like, okay, well, my wife, she's going to get her some, but I know she didn't leave me a note. Hey, this is what you get, so now I'm about to find me some.
Well, tell her thank you for lending you to me, and I hope you do
Hey,
get to get you some chow.
we'll do. Dobson Explicit Family Channel. That's Maria Dobson's husband. What's up?
All right. Nice to
Making
meet
those
you all.
connections, outside of the fish tank fam. That's what I'm trying to do. Get everybody to meet everybody.
Well, at first I forgot to tell everybody that I had plastic plants in my aquariums. There was no way. I had someone meet me on the parking lot with the aquarium in my hand. He says, "Are you going to put live plants in your aquarium?" And I said, "No way."
That was one of those questions when I was talking about let me reboot my brain. While we were talking, I'm looking at the tanks behind you while we were talking. And I was like, okay, the next question I'm gonna ask is, so are you a live plant, enthusiast, or are those because they don't look fake? They don't look fake. They look like live plants.
I have
You
been
have them looking so
converted.
nice.
Now the 25 has plastic and live in it because I'm still cultivating plants to put in there. So,
Okay.
and then right now everything I put in there melts. So I'm going to have to add some ferts. And I do hope you don't mind, but aquarium co-op fertilizer is the way to go. But always do a water test before you add fertilizer. And if the nitrates are high, please do at least a 20% water change, then add the fertilizer. That way you won't
Okay.
kill your fish.
Yeah, I haven't went past. I have Kabamba, Hornwart 8. Hornwart is my mainstay though. Hornwart, Kabamba, and start with a W. Win
Is it
Winstra, uh,
wisteria?
Wisteria. I have water wisteria.
Water
Those are the only
wisteria.
plants that I have. I don't have anything
I
else.
have duckweed.
I kill
And
duckweed.
you kill it, your
I
water don't
kill
keep it.
duckweed. Oh no, I kill duckweed. We were talking about that last night. I have hornwort everywhere. I have a tank in the garage that's just a hornwort tank. You know, a pond with a filter on it and everything. It snails and hornwort in it. With guppy grass, oh no.
Well, I have the Amazon swords, Anubias. Um, they call it the mother plant. I don't know what its scientific name is. It's the large Anubias
Okay.
with the heart-shaped leaves. And I have water wisteria. I have hornswort. I have guppy grass. I have java moss. I have cryptocorns, wendeti. I have chain swords. I have Java ferns. I have oh boy, um, behind me is hairgrass. The long, the the medium, the intermediate hairgrass, not the
Like
short.
the
It's
um
not the giant hairgrass. It
okay.
looks it looks like just hair blowing in the um. And these I can't say it. They're bulb plants. Bulbs. Appenda. Oh, Lord help me. Apo. Apanogeton. Apeta. Apano. Apanogeton. Ovaceous. It's a bulb plant that looks like a sword,
Oh,
a
okay.
narrow leaf sword. Um, I've never had the actual hair grass that's short that causes a carpet on the substrate. I haven't. It doesn't live in my water. It melts.
See, I haven't tried any first yet on anything.
If it's
I'm
working, don't mess it up.
right. See, I'm the maybe 30% water change once a month and a 10% uh top off twice a week.
Yeah.
But I let my hair algae grow. You know, my horn water's everywhere. Oh, I have duckweed and um ivy, the pothos
Yes.
also. So I mean, my water stay clear. I never have to do anything to fix cloudiness. I don't have algae blooms, and all
That's
my
good.
tanks are old. You know, they're mature. You know, I have double layer substrate. I'm gonna have mud underneath, either crushed coral or sand or small pea gravel.
Yeah.
One tank I actually have worms, the red those red worms living in the substrate,
Yep.
and that's been about a year, and they still fish eat them, but they still there. They still propagating.
Yeah. I put one, two, three, four. Four of my aquariums are the deep substrate, and most of them started with the small pebble gravel, and then I topped them with 2 inches of either pool filter sand or the sandblasting sand. And the problem tank that I said, the 20-gallon that the yo-yo loaches keep stirred up all the time, Father Fish said to cap it with another inch of sand, and I haven't done that yet because I'm actually waiting to see where I'm going to put some of these yo-yos because I've never seen yo-yo loaches get this big. I mean, they're 4 inches by 1.5 inches in height. I've never seen them get that large. And I know there's two different strains of yo-yo loaches in there. And we know that the yo-yo loach originates in Pakistan. But in the 20-gallon, I've got five yo-yo loaches, and they all have a cave. But when they get to going, it is so much fun watching them zip in and out of different caves. And, they're very,
How do
how
I
do I
turn
turn
that
that
down?
down?
I
I
see
see
people
people
show the
show the
tanks
tanks
at
at
the
the
same
same
time,
time,
and I
and I
can't
can't
get it
get
to
it to
work.
work. Was
All
that
right,
your
we go.
tank? Was that your
That's my
tank?
that's yeah, that's my guppy extravaganza right here next to me. Let me see.
That's
I I
pretty.
I, I can do it like this.
If you go into your settings on the ringer and turn the ringer all the way down, you won't get that echo
Oh, okay.
because it was a loop back. Oh, yeah. Those are good sized guppies.
And I have two selfie and mollies in there.
Okay. Because
That's
I
the
was getting
male
ready
right
to
there,
say it.
and then there's the female.
Uh huh. Are they breeding also in that tank?
They haven't, and I've had them for a few months. I'm thinking the fry are getting eaten, but
Yeah.
'cause I haven't seen any. I don't unless they look just like guppy fry, but I'm a doubt it.
I'm curious to see if you some of those fry grow up looking like sailfin mollies.
Because they
Because they
say
will. They
they
will
say they
interbreed.
will they will breed. Because I have
But,
two 20-gallon loans behind me with with fancies in it. The ones that I call the turbo guppy that I'm working on, I have up there. So I have those separate to where I can have actual, uh, fancy guppies. This
uh
one,
huh.
I have them in there, and I'm like, well, if it happens, It happens.
Yeah.
They say they can't, the offspring can't breed. That's what they tell me, but we're gonna see what goes on in that one.
Well, all right. Well, Hank, I have really thoroughly enjoyed this, and I thank you again for
Me
having
too. Me
me.
too.
And nice meeting some of the new people that I've met today. God bless you.
Yes. God bless you. Love you. Be
Love
good.
you.
Take care of those fish and love somebody.
And love somebody. And
All
this is
right, y'all.
Susan for SLC Aquatics, hashtag FishFamMom, touching lives one fish at a time. Love you.
Love y'all. Hey, y'all be good. We're out.